Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and today it's another opportunity for me to answer your questions. Today's questions are all about myths about healthy food. And there's a lot of myths about healthy food, and we're going to address that today. I can't wait to share some of these answers with you. If you would like to get your questions answered, please join our private Facebook group, Biblical Nutrition Academy. When you join, we're going to say, what questions do you have for Annette? And if you say, Annette, I do not do Facebook, well, I highly respect that. Then just go ahead and send us an email at info@thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and in the subject line say, question for Annette, and we'll put your questions into this list as well. I really respect your time, and I want to answer your questions as much as possible. I too have had most of these questions myself, and between going back to college and going back into studying in biblical studies, I really wanted the answers to be in agreement with what God has given us in the 3 principles that I teach you. If you're not familiar with the 3 principles, go back and study that in the Treasures of Healthy Living Bible Study. It is definitely the best book to understand those 3 principles and how to apply it in today's culture. Well, thank you for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. And answering these questions is part of that. Now, the second part as to why I love these question and answer videos is because I get to give away free products. I give away products that I use on a daily basis. I figure, well, if I'm using it and I love it, then I have a feeling you're going to love it too. Well, today I'm giving away, again, I did this last week, the Origin, it could be chocolate or vanilla, your choice, protein powder. Now, you're probably used to me offering the GBX protein powder, which is still phenomenal for healing the microbiome, and it has a pleasant taste. Well, this takes that protein to a new level and just gives you a higher boost of nutrition with it. And again, flavor is amazing. I don't really need much in my protein shake. Sometimes it's just a little bit of, homemade almond milk, maybe a half a banana or maybe a half a cup of blueberries frozen, and my protein powder. And then I'll also throw in my mentobiotics because I love having a sharp mind. And that happens when we heal the gut with the precise pre and probiotics so that we can function well. And I need all of the help that I can get because God has me on a mission. And I know He has you on a mission as well. So feeding our gut what it needs, rebuilding that microbiome on a daily basis, it's not a one and done. That's not the way our body is. That also is why Jesus compares Himself to our daily bread. We have to nourish and satisfy this body daily, just as we have to do so spiritually. So much is taught in Scripture through food, and I love teaching it to you. Now, and if you want to get this, leave a review of one of my books. I've got the Treasures of Healthy Living right back here. If you don't have that book, this is the foundation of what I teach. So leave a review of one of my books, either on our website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com, or on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And then when you do that, we put your name in the drawing for the next giveaway. And I love giving away. Did I tell you that already? I love giving away products that are going to help you heal and be able to be more on mission. Now, let's get on with today's questions. A question was submitted about greens. Aren't these leafy ones, for the most part, very goitrogenic? I used to eat these raw until I found this out, and goitrogens isn't something that I want to have in excess in my body due to what it does to the thyroid. Now, this was submitted by Zach. And Zach, this is a really good question, and it kind of shows what's happening out there on the internet. So let's look at the 3 principles and then ask, who knows more about your health, God or man? Principle number 1, eat the foods God called good. Principle number 2, eat the foods as close to His design. And greens are specifically the cruciferous, which is the most talked about for being goitrogenic. But yet they're created by God, and I have several videos out there on this topic, so go and watch some of those. I'll link them down below. Now, the amount of cruciferous that it takes to cause this ill effect is more than what most people could ever consume. Now, Dr. Cooey is my co-author for the Treasures of Healthy Living Bible Study and also the Nutrition Manual. He was a professor at Baylor University, and he keeps asking me, Annette, are you telling them to eat 1 cup of cruciferous daily? I say yes. Every time we talk, I tell him, yes, I'm telling them that. He's still very actively working, and he has a lab in his home. Even though he's retired, he's still helping people to overcome cancer and other autoimmune issues. So he can do your blood work in his home and show you on a slide the change that happens from eating cruciferous vegetables. So keep in mind the amount of cruciferous or greens that it's going to take to cause harm to the thyroid is a large amount, and it's more than a normal person could eat. Yes, you can replicate this in a laboratory and with mice, but it takes a large amount. When you eat just 1 cup of raw cruciferous and then you have a salad also during that day and you've got spinach and other greens, that's not going to cause harm to your thyroid. Remember, God's foods come with this exponential effect. It's kind of like a multifaceted effect. You don't just get different nutrients. You get a whole barrage of nutrients that work synergistically so that they bring healing and not harm. That's why God's foods work. Now, yes, there's people out on the internet teaching you don't touch cruciferous if you have any thyroid concerns whatsoever. That's totally taken out of context, and they have exaggerated some of the studies. And even some of the studies are not very accurate as well. Stick with the 3 principles and you will always do well. Thanks for asking this question. A question was asked, does sugar from blueberries and mangoes feed cancer cells? Why or why not? Submitted by Robbie. I love the why or why not. So this is an interesting question, and you're going to hear opposing arguments. Now, some are going to say sugar is sugar and all cancer cells are fed by sugar. Yes, that's true. But that gathers all fruits and it makes them an enemy, which that part's not true. So if you start in the Garden of Eden, God creates and he says it is good. Good in the context of when this was written means excellent of its kind, valuable in estimation. Nothing God creates causes harm. It's what man has done that alters, and that's what causes harm. Now let's look at blueberries and mangoes that you mentioned specifically. Now these are not just a cube of sugar. They're loaded with micronutrients. Blueberries are actually a protector of cells as they contain youth-preserving antioxidants, which then prevent free radical damage. Now, I teach all about free radicals in our Treasures of Healthy Living Bible Study DVD and CD series, so you might want to check that out. These fruits also boost your immunity. Research says that blueberries provide as many antioxidants as 5 servings of broccoli, apples, or carrots. Blueberries also help prevent unwanted bacteria to populate the gut. Now, when you have chemo or other drugs, it leaves the gut with a leaky sieve, which leads to bad bacteria running rampant. Blueberries help prevent this. Now, the sugar in blueberries is balanced with fiber, antioxidants, anthocyanins, I always gotta get that word right, ellagic acid, resveratrol, and tannins. Blueberries are, as one author claimed, they're like wonder berries. So include blueberries in your smoothies. Grow blueberry plants in your yard. They make a beautiful bush for landscaping. And then pick them in the late summer for a year-long enjoyment. Even the blueberry leaves, the new leaves, the fresh green leaves, can be used to make a tea for coughs. So you would take 2 tablespoons of blueberry leaves. Now, I really prefer the young ones, the new leaves. Add 1 cup of water, just boiled, and then honey for taste. Let the leaves kind of infuse for 5 minutes and strain it, and then sweeten it to taste with the honey. Drink 1 cup every 4 hours when you have a cough. Now let's move on to mangoes. Many people who have cancer, they'll get a vitamin C IV fluids several times a week. Mangoes are a huge vitamin C. Vitamin C is it really takes care of cancer, and it also helps with collagen, which helps with your skin and your connective tissue. And these are also places that are attacked by chemo. So to protect your skin and protect your connective tissue while undergoing treatment, it would be a benefit to eat mangoes. Mangoes also have vitamin E. Now, I teach about this in the Treasures of Healthy Living DVD CD series, where I teach about how vitamin C and vitamin E, they work together to prevent free radical damage. Now, chemo may be necessary for many people, but eating these foods helps protect the healthy cells. Now, mangoes are also good for the brain and for memory loss, and that's totally attacked by chemo. They have beta carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A, which is vital for protecting your health. Mangoes are also a detoxifier, as a useful source of potassium, and they help maintain blood pressure. The fiber helps to balance insulin and glucose. So when you add mangoes to your diet, throw them in your smoothies or put them in your salad or just eat them right off the peeling. So both blueberries and mangoes, the nutrition that God put in that creates that synergistic effect, that multifaceted effect, protects your body. The sugar in mangoes and blueberries is just one small piece, but yet when you add in all of the other nutrients and the fiber, it brings everything into a balance. It's like a homeostasis when we eat God's foods. We need to always understand this. Now, if you take a cube of sugar and you pop it in your mouth, yeah, you have just totally went directly to a cancer cell to feed that cell. When you eat blueberries and mangoes, there is a process that takes place that creates a healing effect instead of a stimulant to the cancer cell. Thanks for asking that very well thought out question. The question was asked, I have heard that white potatoes are unhealthy. Is this true? This was submitted by Sharon. Now, Dr. Cooey shares about this in the Treasures of Healthy Living DVD series. I highly recommend everyone to get these recordings, and they're perfect as just a standalone learning experience, or you can get them as DVDs, CDs, or online downloads. They're also part of the Treasures of Healthy Living Bible study. Now, white potatoes are the most altered food when it comes to potatoes. The starch content is higher, the glucose release in the body is quicker because of the amount of changes that have taken place. But did you know there's over 4,000 different potato varieties? God doesn't just create one Idaho potato. And in the typical store, you're going to get 3. You're going to get the red, the white, and now the Yukon's popular. Let me challenge you to seek out more varieties and even grow new varieties. Potatoes have a starch that is called resistant starch. Now, I've done videos on this topic in my grocery discoveries. I show how young potatoes, such as the purple, the red, and the Yukons, are perfect food for a digestive system. They also help with that gut-brain connection so that we can think better and have better days. The resistant starch is actually higher in cold cooked potatoes. They also contain a prebiotic material to feed the good bacteria. Remember, the more we feed the good bacteria, the more we starve the bad bacteria. Now, the prebiotic properties of resistant starch are really quite simple to understand. So when it enters the large intestine, resistant starch is then fermented by your gut microbes, and then it creates short-chain fatty acids. So that's your acetate, your butyrate, and your propionate. And they support the gut and the microbiome well-being. So walk past the white potatoes and reach for the other colors. Now let me step back into the short-chain fatty acids. Butyrate is one of the most important short-chain fatty acids that's synthesized by the microbiota. It provides the main energy source for cells that line your gut. And by doing so, butyrate helps to maintain the integrity of the gut lining. And many people are suffering from leaky gut syndrome. So your lining is an important barrier between your gut and your environment. Well, thank you again for asking these questions. Our winner today of the Origin protein powder, which I am so excited about the flavor. This is more of a newer protein powder for me to be sampling, and it is by the Amari company, and they're all about mental wellness. And mental wellness is just not a stigma. In fact, it's not a stigma. We all need mental wellness. So I'm going to do everything every day that I can to keep building the microbiome to get that release, so that I can have the neurotransmitters send signals to my brain and say, hey, let's have an amazing day. I want a day that says, I can conquer this. I can take on what I'm being asked to do. These foods and supplements that I recommend to you, they're going to help you have that kind of day. But you need to take it all the time. It's not a one and done. So this is the protein powder between this one and the GBX Food protein powder. They're both excellent options for you. Today's winner, and before I say the winner, I'm going to let you hang on to that thought. I'll put a link down below. Make sure you use the coupon code so you get $10 off. I'm all about saving money anywhere we can. All right, now the winner is Lisa Renee. You have 60 days from the posting of this video to send an email to info@thebiblicalnutritionist.com and say winner of protein powder. And then we will send that out to you. No cost to you. So if you're saying, hey, I want free protein powder, leave a review of one of my books. I've got the Treasures of Healthy Living Bible Study here. I have a new book coming out called 7 Foods of the Promised Land and Why God Chose These 7. So thanks for watching again, and thank you for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health.